What's going on, guys? Ben from JK Gear and Gadgets, and welcome back to another video. Right here, what we have is a JK on 40s with no lift. What? Let's head back home, talk about why I did this, and get the video started. So 40s and no lift, definitely don't recommend it. But what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I want to go ahead and say thank you to all the new subscribers. The last video, the Old Town Road parody, have gotten a ton of new subscribers, and don't worry, every video is not going to be like that, and don't expect music videos that often. Might do another one here in a little bit, but it's definitely not, you know, how I normally make videos. But what we're looking at now is my Jeep on 40s with no lift. Well, I say no lift, technically it's about 1 inches. Or 1 inch, just due to the fact that the 1-ton swap truss kit sits the coil spring up about 1 inch higher than factory. But these are the factory springs dug out of my garage to put on the Jeep. It looks pretty cool, I think, and it rides amazing. Like, cornering, the center of gravity is really nice and low, but on the rear I'm pretty much riding on bump stops, and up on the front here I'm pretty much riding on bump stops as well. So I have like no up travel, and it's just bouncing all over. So why am I rolling around on 40s with no lift? Little backstory to that. So last night I was actually pulling off my 4.5-inch Metalcloak springs, which are now laying right here. They have been great springs. However, after I did the swap, I wanted to lower the Jeep down a little bit. So called Off-Road Elements, ordered some Rock Krawler 3.5-inch springs, and for some reason I thought they were supposed to be delivered yesterday. So I got home from work, put the Jeep up, pulled off the springs, and saw the UPS man coming by. I'm like, sweet, we can go ahead and throw in all the new springs. 3.5-inch springs, it'll sit 1 inch lower. I'm happy with that. So the UPS man pulls up over here, starts walking up the driveway with a single Amazon box. And I'm like, is that it? He's like, yeah, man, that's all you got today. So I was like, crap. Not what I was looking for. I was hoping for the springs to come in the mail. So I went inside, hopped on the computer, pulled up the tracking info, and I was wrong. They're supposed to arrive today. So last night I decided to have some fun and threw the factory springs back on there. I was like, well, let's see how low this thing can go and still work. And technically it does work on the street horribly. But this gave me an idea to kind of make a video about how much lift do you need for your Jeep. Technically, you really don't even need, like, you know, if you're running flat fenders, you do some trimming down here as well as in the back on the pinch seams. I've done a good amount of trimming right down there as well in the back here too, to open up the clearance. And it's allowing me to run 40s pretty much on stock suspension, or, you know, 1 inch lift, give or take. And honestly, it looks pretty good. Don't have much room for up travel at all. As you can tell in the rear back here, I barely have any shock left on both sides, and I'm pretty much riding on bump stops. But it goes to show that you can actually fit a huge tire into these Jeeps without a ton of lift. Now up front, I definitely have to raise it, because as you can tell, my drag link is ready to hit my tie rod. That's like 1 inch of travel. So no, I'm not gonna keep it like this. I just wanted to see if it would fit. Now, why else did I do it? It's because I actually have a lot of videos coming up that are dependent on lift height. So of course I'm switching to Rock Krawler 3.5-inch springs, but I'm also adding hydraulic bump stops to the rear, which means I have to check my bump stop and my travel before I set all that up. And I'm also doing some other things. For those of you that have been watching my past videos, I am designing a 3-link DIY like suspension long arms. So stay tuned for that video. And here's a little sneak peek. I don't have all the fancy tools and software designs, but what I do have is a couple pieces of PVC, a heat gun, and I can make some cool bends. But one thing I want to show you real quick, guys, is these joints that I just got from Barnes 4-wheel drive today. Oh yeah, they're 7-slot custom sticker. It's the Jeep specific line from Barnes 4-wheel drive. But we have their Enduro joint and their standard Heim joint. Now, I got one of each just to kind of compare and design my 3-link, but this thing is crazy beefy. First off, the really good thing I like about it is how long the threads and the shanks are. So if this was our control arm, we have a lot of adjustability with the threads. You can easily adjust this 1 inch or 2 and still have plenty of threads, whereas your standard Heim joint, you're really not going to have too much adjustability. But we'll talk about that in the 3-link video when we start designing all that. But the big thing of when, you know, of me actually designing a long arm is I had to find the lift height, figure out how much travel I have, and check clearances. So the Jeep is not staying like this, but it does look cool, and it would be awesome to kind of rock crawl with a very low center of gravity. But for what I do, daily driving, rock crawling, and I want to incorporate some high speed stuff, you know, take it on some bumps, you know, go 30 miles an hour down like a back road. You really want some up travel in your Jeep and your suspension to absorb those bumps and whatnot. So a very low center of gravity is not going to work for me, but I might see if I can get away with 2.5-inch springs. We'll see tonight when the UPS man comes in. But we talked about the 3-link design. That's going to be a little mini video series, DIY 3-link front and rear on the cheap, do it yourself. Stay tuned for that. So as you can tell right here, we have some new hydraulic bump stops. I've been talking about it for a while, and I've been wanting to add a set of rear hydraulic bump stops. I've had the front, it's time to add the rear. So what I went with is the brackets from TMR Customs. This is gonna help us weld it on and honestly make the install so much easier. $99 for both brackets. As you can tell, one side is already painted in Steel It. It's not welded yet, but the great thing about Steel It is that we can paint it, weld it, and then just put another layer of paint on there. Now, if you're thinking of adding bump stops to your Jeep, don't just go ahead and skip the TerraFlex speed bumps, go with the hydraulic. Honestly, they are a lot better. But let's talk about what bump stops I went with. So for the rear, there's no bolt-on options. All of them are gonna have to be welded in and kind of like fabbed, but the brackets make it a lot easier. Now, for the rear bump stops themselves, I went with locked off-road rear hydraulic bump stops. They're the, as you can tell, just a normal pin mount. Comes with the can as well, unpainted. They are 2-inch diameter and 2-inch travel. It's gonna be perfect for the rear of the JK. Now, they are doing a 10% off discount code on lockedoffroad.com. I think the discount code's like, what, JK Bumps? Definitely a great deal. They're a lot cheaper than Kings, Fox, all that stuff, and still very high quality. Since I went ahead and picked up the rear, I decided to go ahead and pick up a set of the front ones too. I've been running the DV8s, and yes, they do work, but personally, I do not like recommending DV8 as a company. So I'd rather test out these locked off-road, see how they work, and honestly, they look a lot better. They're fully black. We won't be using this can. That's for more like custom applications and stuff, but these will be pretty much directly bolt-on. And we will be doing a full video on all of this, on how to add bump stops to your Jeep. Now, what else do we have? I've had these beadlock wheels for a while now, and the big thing I've been wanting to do is actually make a video on how to install monster valves. Super quick way to air down your tires, as well as airing them back up paired with a power tank. These you do have to drill into your wheel, drill and tap to install these guys, but it is definitely worth it. Now, I also do have some other stuff over here. I went to Ollie's, it's a little bargain outlet on the way home from work, and man, I'll say I'm disappointed right now. Oh, let's see what I got. It's worth a shot. So here's that $20 drone I picked up, and it does not work at all. I charged it for about an hour now, and you're supposed to turn it on and it's supposed to light up. Nothing. That's what I get for trying to buy really cheap stuff. Oh well. But picked up the drone. I'll probably return that because it doesn't even work. And I also bought some duplicate color custom wrap removable coating. This is pretty much like Plasti Dip. It's gray, and the reason being is I have a bunch of gray Steel It, and I'm thinking I just want to see how the JK would look with gray wheels. Leave the beadlock ring, you know, machined aluminum, and have the inside gray, kind of similar to the LJ. But before I do that with actual Steel It, I was thinking about doing the removable coating so I can see how it looks and peel it off later. But we will see. We will see if I do that. But what I'm most interested in is is this guy, some Rainbrella from Rust-Oleum. It's probably just Rain-X, but it's a wipe. We're gonna put it on the Jeep real quick, spray it down with water, and see if this is true. All right, gotta put the gloves on. No need to read all the instructions. Step 1, wipe on. Let sit for 5 minutes, wipe off. Repeat step 1 and 2. Let the 5 minutes begin. Go ahead and do the back while we're at it. Whew. This stuff stinks, man. No wonder it's for sale. Oh.
The new springs are finally here.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh look, Ellie's excited too.
Oh.
What you got there?
New springs. You can help me put them on?
Absolutely.
Are you really?
Not.
There we go. No more stock springs.
Darn.
Who's excited? You can help me put them on? You gonna help me? What? You're on camera. You don't like camera? Uh-oh. Oh, what did I do? Emma, how about you? Emma, will you help me?
They said they just want Chick-fil-A, Dad.
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
Yay, look. Wow. Wow. The Rust-Oleum Wipe New has been applied to the windshield. This little back piece right here in the rear hatch glass. Did it twice, wiped it all off, gotta wait for it to cure for 10 minutes before we actually spray it down and do a little comparison. I really hope that this stuff works. I mean, it's only $4, but the drone from Ollie's did not work. So hopefully this, I mean, there's a reason this stuff is at those discount bargain shops, but we'll see. I'm kind of hoping that the Rain, you know, it's like Rain-X, but I don't know, we'll see. But while I was waiting for that, I actually went ahead and plasti dipped, or did the Rust-Oleum, whatever, the peelable coat. Went ahead and put that on. It definitely does not go on that nice. You can't tell on the GoPro, but there's a lot of little bubbles. What do you guys think of that combo? It's really hard to see on the GoPro, but it's like, I mean, it's pretty much the same color as the Steal-It on the LJ, but I think that might be a pretty cool contrast. Once it dries, I'll probably put it over there next to the Jeep, but I think it'll look good without being so much aluminum. I don't know, just like changing it up. But since we're still waiting, I want to show you guys something I noticed. I'm really excited to test out the Rock Krawler springs, especially compared to the Metalcloak. Now let me go grab my tripod so I can set it up and show you guys something that I noticed between the Rock Krawler and Metalcloak. Right here we have the Rock Krawler, over here we have the Metalcloak. Metalcloak was a 4.5-inch coil, the Rock Krawler's a 3.5-inch coil. Looking at them side by side, they both have the same free length. On the website, I thought Metalcloak advertised that it had a higher free length than the Rock Krawler. Maybe it's just because it's broken in and it's used, but honestly right now they both have the same free length. What I did notice though is that the Rock Krawler is a lot easier to compress compared to the Metalcloak. The Metalcloak feels a lot stiffer. If we do it side by side, I can't really do that, not enough strength. But the one thing I want to talk about real quick is the Rock Krawler definitely does feel softer when you're compressing it. Metalcloak is a dual rate spring, meaning it's a little bit softer up here in the first half and gets firmer on the bottom half. Rock Krawler actually has a triple rate spring, meaning it's nice and soft up here, a medium zone, and then a very firm zone. What that means is that the small bumps driving on the street, it's gonna absorb them nice and softly. Once you start getting off road, it's gonna really take a lot of weight to start compressing these lower springs. In the past, you know, a couple of years ago, multiple years ago, all these coil springs were a single rate, meaning there was a certain, you know, amount of pounds that it took to compress this spring 1 inch. With these new style springs, you're able to offer, you know, multiple spring rates throughout the spring, depending on how much travel your suspension is going through. I'm excited to see how the Rock Krawlers do. I've heard good things, but I've also heard a lot of good things about Metalcloak. I did like these, but honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan. So we'll test out the Rock Krawler, see if it offers a softer ride, and overall, you know, It'll be a nice comparison to go through the Rock Krawler versus Metalcloak. That's a huge debate. Pretty much hit everything, lift kits, shocks, springs. It's pretty interesting. But we will try them out and see. Sadly, I am not going to be installing these today. I'm going to wait until we do the bump stops. Since I have to pull the springs out anyways, I'm going to wait to swap these over. But it's been about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and spray the windshield and see if we actually notice a difference with those wipes. All right, here goes nothing. Oh, that is actually pretty cool. Oh, I'm literally spraying inside the LJ. Stop, close. All right, well, this stuff actually works. Let's try to show you guys this again. That is actually really cool. So, got a nice little mist. And then over there, I'm gonna have to get really close to show you. Oh, this is so hard to control this with one hand holding the GoPro. All right, we're gonna get really, really close. All right, here's this side. And then here's this side. See how the water just runs right down it? Whereas this side, it's not really running down. Let me, let's close this window and do a test over here. Uh-oh, the typical JK leak. Everybody hates that. Right into the cap. Test number 2. So here we have the back hatch. See how it just runs right off? All right, and then back over here. Yeah, there we go. There's no water on this piece and there's still water on that. Let's just do like a little, look at that. That is so cool. This makes up for my broken drone. I know, I'm over here like being happy about Rain-X. That's pretty much all this is. But out of everything I've done to this Jeep, I have never done Rain-X on it. I'm really wondering if this would be good in like the mud, like muddy waters. That is just awesome. Whee! Oh, I just want to do my whole Jeep in this stuff. All right, that's enough. I'll have to go back and do all the windows. That stuff works. That's awesome. I feel better about my purchase from Ollie's knowing that I at least bought something that works. Wipe off the camera lens. See how this is turning out. Okay, it's drying a little bit grayer. There we go, kind of block the sun. What do you guys think? Let's put it up beside the Jeep and see what it looks like. I really don't know. I'm wondering if the gray and silver is like a little too much, but honestly, it might look pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, I wouldn't plasti dip them. I would actually paint them with Steel It. This same color that's on the LJ. It's a very nice finish. It's like a matte finish and it's actually really durable. I like how those turned out, but I don't know how to look on the JK. So, well, this video is gonna be extremely long, a lot of me rambling, but I wanted to put a video out, you know, because most of my views are coming from the Old Town Road parody song, and I do a lot more than parody videos, guys. And of course, the last mod I'm gonna show you, new inner fenders from Highline Off-Road. These are the same people that make my my hood louver, which I'll show you in a minute. Great products, all made here in USA. And honestly, I really like these inner fenders because for one, my DV8s are rattling like crazy, and these offer a few extra features. More room for bump stops, the hydraulic bump stops. They're powder coated. More room to get access to your shocks, and a huge pocket here for where our tire is gonna flex up into the fender well. On the DV8s, I wish the Jeep was jacked up or lifted so I could actually show you. But on the DV8s, how do I get in here? This right here, you can tell where my tire keeps rubbing it. It comes out. I need that room. On the Highlines, this actually goes in, and that's what that pocket was. So when your tire's flexed up and you're turning, it's not rubbing on the inner fenders. Great design. I don't know why more of those, you know, inner fender companies don't actually make that. And honestly, Highline makes really good stuff. That's the hood louver I'm running. Leaps and bounds better than the Poison Spider. Same, you know, theory. It's aluminum, lets the heat out, but you don't have a million of those freaking screws. It's all has the studs already in it. You just have the nuts underneath. Very, very clean. Here's the Poison Spider for comparison. You see all these little screws, little bolts. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. They make good stuff, and I'm excited to put those inner fenders on. Plus my DV8s rattle like crazy. So as you guys saw, there's a ton of new videos coming up. The long arm video series is gonna be like 2 videos, 2 or 3. I'm not gonna drag it out, but it's gonna be very informative. I'm gonna show you how to put, you know, numbers into a link calculator to figure out where to mount your mounts, how long to make the links, talk about basic suspension design, especially a 3-link. It's gonna be very knowledgeable, and honestly, you could walk out and do it yourself for way less than buying an off-the-shelf 3-link. Both are gonna require welding and all that stuff, so you might as well make your own, save some money, and honestly, in my opinion, get a better outcome. Design it for your needs. But that's it, guys. A lot of cool projects coming. Stay tuned. Give this video a big old thumbs up. If you like the idea of a lower Jeep, I mean, I think it looks really cool, but this is not gonna fly. We'll put on the Rock Krawler 3.5-inch springs, see what it looks like, and possibly drop down to 2.5. We'll see. We'll play around with it, and stay tuned for the hydraulic bump stop video. I'm probably gonna start that tomorrow. It's Saturday. It's not supposed to rain, so I'll have time to come out here and mess with the Jeep and make a video. So, wow, this is gonna be a long video. Like always, guys, thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more videos. Go down, leave a comment. Comments really help videos. I don't know if you guys know that. I know a lot of people just watch videos, but I like to hear your feedback, and of course, comments help. They help me. They help push the video. It shows that there's more interaction. So even if you don't have anything to say, just be like, hi Ben, nice Crocs. Yeah, you gotta rock the Crocs. But that's it, guys. Peace.